this sixth case, we will demonstrate a midline diastema closure. Here, a small amount of enamel is removed in order to allow a nice blending of the composite onto the tooth structure. In addition, surface staining is also removed using a high-speed burr. Here, the 1-Up Bond F Plus is scrubbed on the tooth surfaces for 10 seconds each, and followed by light curing for a total of 10 seconds. Prior to this case, an impression was made of this patient's upper arch. The teeth were waxed to correct the midline, as well as the incisal length, and a polyvinyl matrix formed on the model. This is then transferred to the mouth and allows for easy placement of the Estelite Sigma paste. In this case, we're using the shade A1 Estelite Sigma composite paste material. It's sculpted on the upper right central incisor against the tooth as well as the putty matrix. Using this technique, it's easy to see the tooth take form and shape almost immediately. Estelite Sigma is cured for 30 seconds, followed by the placement of additional Estelite Sigma to close the midline diastema. Again, it's important to see why the use of this matrix is so critical and helpful in many of these cases, because it allows us to sculpt the composite exactly where we need to using a visual aid as well as a form to place the composite against. Here the composite is blended to the tooth surface using a composite sculpting instrument. It's also very important to make sure that the composite is sculpted into and up against the gingival surface of the tooth to avoid future gingival health problems and to promote excellent gingival health, as well as allowing the patient to maintain good home care. Here, Estelite Flow Quick is placed on the gingival 2/3 as well as a small portion of the incisal area for the final facial layer and light cured. Here, the upper left central incisor is now going to be corrected using Estelite Sigma composite. The initial layer, the A1, allows for incisal translucency. This will be followed by the use of the OA1 at the midline in order to block out any gray discoloration coming from the inside of the mouth. Here, in a small deviation from the first technique used on the upper right central incisor, a small increment of Estelite Flow Quick is placed at the incisal edge in order to provide a completely restored incisal edge. Here, the putty matrix is now removed, and the midline finally closed. A mylar strip is placed between the two central incisors, and Estelite Sigma in the OA or opaque A shade is placed to prevent any gray shining through at this area. Is cured for 10 seconds, followed by the final placement of the Estelite Flow Quick on the facial surface, and is cured for 10 seconds. The mylar strip is removed. Now that the midline diastema has been closed, the composite can now be finished and smoothed and polished using a series of carbide burrs, small diamonds, and composite polishing discs. The final facial surface is then polished using silicone cups, and the case complete.